Good morning, Ottmar.
Good morning, Aaron. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Awesome. You want to tell the folks at home what we're talking about today?
Absolutely. Well, just so you know, this is National Vocations Awareness Week. We are in this special week that the church has given to us in order for us to pray for vocations and to become a little bit more aware of the different vocations, the different states of life, and the different calls to service that we have in the church, whether it be the priesthood, religious life, consecrated life, also marriage and single life. So this is definitely a chance for us to become aware. That is why it's the National Vocations Awareness Week, to become aware of these calls to service in the church.
Awesome. That's great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your vocation?
Absolutely. Well, for those of you that still don't know me, like Aaron said, my name is Ottmar Tovar-Almanza. I am currently in my pastoral year here at Our Lady of Guadalupe in Helotes. It's been a wonderful time here since I've been here in July. Just a little bit in my background, I am originally from Mexico City. That is my hometown. But I've been living here in San Antonio since 2005. So I got here when I was 12 years old. So I've been here for 16 years already. And as far as how I ended up in the seminary, how I chose to enter the seminary, well, it really is a long story, but I will try to make it as short as possible. It all started when I was growing up in Mexico City, when I was a very, very young kid, probably 4 to 5 years old. It really started with my first pastor. He really is a man that is completely in love with the church, with God, with Our Lady, with the Catholic faith as a whole. And I grew up with that priestly image, that priestly figure, and it all started just wanting to become like him, just wanting to be like him. So that's how it started when I was a kid. Eventually, as I started growing up, and especially in my teenage years, there were times where I thought that wasn't the vocation for me, so I kind of like put it away. Then there were times where it came back very strongly, and I was very sure that that's what I was meant to do. So it was kind of like a going back and forth as I was growing up. Eventually, when I entered college, I did my bachelor's in pastoral ministry at the Mexican American Catholic College here in San Antonio. I got the chance to meet some of the seminarians from the archdiocese who were my classmates at the time. I was working at parishes at the time also, and so that's really when the question really came back very strongly. But I still wasn't sure, so I was still discerning, yes, no. So it really was in March of 2016 when I made my first pilgrimage to the Shrine of Medjugorje in Bosnia, to really ask our Lord if that's what He wanted of me. It was a pilgrimage not only to fulfill a lifelong dream, but also to ask whether that was His will for me. So the answer was very clear. It was a yes. So I decided to take the step, but it still took a little bit of time. I went back to Medjugorje to live there for 4 months so a very special opportunity that was given to me. And it really was a spiritual preparation for what was to come later in my life. Like I said, it still took a while. I still had a couple of questions whether I was called to diocesan priesthood, religious life. I wasn't sure. It took a little bit of time, but eventually I was accepted by the archdiocese, and so I entered the seminary in January of 2019.
Awesome. That's great. And so tell the people at home a little bit about why it's necessary for someone at a certain point in their discernment to enter the seminary or enter the convent. Why do men and women go into that type of place for the formation?
Sure, that's a great question because many people tend to think that young men who enter the seminary or who enter a religious community, young women that enter a religious community, a convent, many people just tend to think that, that's their vocation, or he's going to be ordained, or she's going to profess vows. And it doesn't work that way. The seminary and formation in a religious community, for men and women, it really is a deeper discernment. We are in a process where we're Yes, we are receiving that formation. Yes, we're receiving that preparation. But at the same time, we're also continuing to grow and mature that call that we have received from God. So it does happen very frequently that at the middle of formation, there's people who eventually, through that prayer, that discernment, also that help, that assistance from the formators, from the formation staff, they find out that that is not their vocation. And that's okay. That's okay, because that's what we're here for. We're here to continue in that discernment. So entering the seminary, entering formation, really is a deeper discernment. So, and I can say that 100%, because in my case, I needed that in order to continue growing in that discernment in my life.
That's awesome. That's great. And so, could you give us a brief timeline of, in your case, diocesan priesthood? What does the formation process look like?
Sure. It really does depend on the young man itself. The average of formation, diocesan formation, it's about 8 to 9 years. But it really does depend on the situation, because the guys who enter right after high school, they the average for them, it is about 8 to 9 years, because it is 4 years of theology, 4 years of philosophy, I should say, versus 4 years of philosophy, 4 years of theology, and 1 year of pastoral year, which is the state that I'm currently at. In my case, since I did enter with a college degree, and also that is another case that happens frequently, there's a lot of guys that come in already with college degrees in their background, and so formation tends to be a little shorter, so in an average about 5 years. So that is my situation as well. Since I did enter with my BA in pastoral ministry, my formation is of 5 years, so I'm currently in the third.
Awesome. And what happens after your pastoral year?
After pastoral year, after I am finished here at Our Lady of Guadalupe, I will go back to the seminary for 2 more years. So at the beginning of my 4th year, I will be ordained a deacon, God willing, and then 6 months afterwards, it'll be ordination to the priesthood.
Awesome. We'll be praying for you in that. That's exciting. So, and just to close out this video, what advice would you give to any young man or young woman out there who are looking to learn more about discerning their potential vocation, but don't really know how to go about it?
Sure. The very first thing that I would tell you is know yourself. Really ask the Lord to give you that grace for you to really get to know the person that you are. Because those gifts and those talents that God has given to you, they're given to you for a purpose. Those really are going to be the ones that you're going to be using for the service of the people. So really, you really have to know who you are. You really have to know what is it that you are going to give. What is it that you are going to be able to do for other people. So really, really get to know the person that you are. And don't be afraid. Just really ask yourself, who am I? And what is it that I can give to the world? And the second thing that I would tell you is really grow in your relationship with the Lord. Because the vocation, whatever vocation that you have received from God, is a gift. And it is also the path for you to become a saint. So whether it be the priesthood, whether it be religious life, whether it be marriage, whether it be a single life, whether your profession is going to be a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, whatever it is, that is going to be the path for you to give witness of your faith, to really take the gospel to other people, for you to serve other people, and that way for you to become a saint. So really, in order to get to know that, you really have to grow in love with the Lord. And so try to take care of your spiritual life very much through prayer, through the sacraments, through service of others, through fasting, through a very deep devotion to Our Lady, and also try to get a good spiritual director who can assist you and who can guide you as well to really see God's actions in your life.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ottmar, for that advice, and thank you so much for joining us today to help us make this video.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Praise be Jesus and Mary.
Awesome. Well, from all of us here at Our Lady of Guadalupe, thank you so much for watching.